Hello and welcome to the to Marissa podcast. We're here with ZoFlow, or ZoGrillo on TikTok, Instagram, and potentially YouTube one day. I honestly, sometimes I wish that you had flows on YouTube. Like, sometimes I don't want to watch Adrian with yoga. I want to watch ZoFlow, okay? Like, I wish, like, for real. I'm like, man, especially when I couldn't come to your class anymore, like, the times didn't work out. Like, I'm glad you're teaching a class that I can actually go to again. Because I was like, man, I just want to be at home and do Zoe's flow.
Man, you know how
easy it would be?
Yeah,
like,
it would be so easy, like, to just take, like, my class plan that I make for the week and just
do it on YouTube.
Record it. I just don't have that nice of a camera is my issue, but
like, on your phone, or?
Yeah, but I mean, it's in the works.
Yeah,
and it's coming. It's coming. Also, I've thought about this before with doing, like, yoga nidra videos on YouTube.
Yes. Would love. So easy to do. You don't even have to film yourself. A lot of people for meditation videos, and I know this because I've watched a lot and I also make them, a lot of people just put like a graphic, just like a moving graphic with like text, and it's just a voiceover.
That's true.
You got the mic. Get her done. Okay, if you tuned into part 1 of our conversation with Zoe, part 1 we talked about throwing it back and get her done. That was my affirmation of the week. Zoe's affirmation was go ahead and repeat it.
Oh, I am wildly available for the miraculous. Except I got another one for you.
Oh, please. Yeah, we're going to do another affirmation, yes.
Wait. I wrote it in my notes app.
Please.
Let me look at it so I say it correctly.
Also, while we were talking about the YouTube idea, so I know that you have more space in your kitchen area, and you have posted a TikTok of you doing yoga in your kitchen. And since you're a food girly, wouldn't it just be so nice for you to be kind of cooking something, or to have a snack, or to have a sippy sip, share the recipe, and also do a flow with people? Be like, today we're eating this. It's really good. This is why it's good for you. If you're in your luteal phase, do this. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, let's get into the flow. Or like, welcome to the flow. Welcome to the flow. And after Shavasana, I'm going to show you what's cooking. Like, that would be so cute.
Wait, I think this is telling me that we need, like, a collab. Like, just...
I'll cook while you flow. No.
Well, I was, like, we just need, like, a session where we just brainstorm ideas.
Oh, it's my favorite thing to do.
Write stuff down, because that's genius. And, you know, I don't know why I didn't think about making yoga content when that's, like...
Yeah, have you haven't thought about that?
I think it's because it's my job, and...
Yes.
I wanted to do things that were, like, separate from my job. It's not the only part of my, like, daytime job, but teaching yoga is part of my, like, full-time job.
Yes.
And so I was, like, trying to separate it from, like, work, but also it is something I'm passionate about and I love. So this is planting seeds.
This is the magic when we have conversations with beautiful people. I mean, that's what the podcast is about. Just having conversations with good people and sharing the vibration. Amen. What's that affirmation?
Okay. I am a match for sudden, unexplainable success.
Oh. Is there... I'm sorry. I keep seeing a cat literally, like, right here by your door.
Maybe it's Rainy.
Yeah, that's literally what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah, she follows me around.
Yeah, she keeps, like, I keep seeing, like, a paw under the door, like, come through, but then, like, her full body. And I felt, like, very strong cat vibes.
You're not the first person who said that to me, so...
Really?
That makes me feel like it's her.
No, I immediately got, like, this is Zoe's deceased cat. Yeah. Aw. Rainy's with us, guys. Blessing the podcast. This is so sweet. Say that affirmation one more time about that. Distracted. Not distracted me, but just took me.
I am a match for sudden, unexplainable success.
Oh, that's really, really juicy. Where do you find these? TikTok?
Yeah, no, I saw it from another creator on TikTok. That other one from the last episode, it was from the same TikTok. It was like 3 affirmations.
Audacity.
I know. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to start saying this to myself every single day.
Please send those to me.
I will.
Take a screenshot. Send it to Galactic Goddesses.
I will at a later time.
Yeah, at a later time. And how do you think that saying such a powerful, like, little note to yourself like that every day shifts your frequency? Because I have guests share affirmations all the time, right? But how do affirmations show up specifically in your life and in your, like, what is the intention you hold when you're speaking affirmations?
Well, I think if you say regular affirmations to yourself, you need to consider if you actually believe it. Because you can say it, but there's a difference between saying it and believing it. And if you're saying it, you're speaking it, and you believe it, then you're actually, like, putting that out into the universe. Because you actually...
Like coding with it.
Yes, like you... Yes, and you are, like, existing in that vibration. You are emanating that vibration. You are growing your, like, aura with this energy. But that is a really key part to it. But that's like how manifestation works too. Like, you have to have that element of, like, believing in yourself and believing that you deserve it and can have that thing, or it's not gonna happen.
Absolutely.
So, I don't know. That'd be my way of explaining that.
Yeah.
Like, it's like manifesting. Affirmations
creating.
Are like creating.
It's like taking the first step into the co-creation with spirit. Like, you're calling upon it. And I feel like when I state my affirmations, I'm in a place of communion with spirit. I'm not just by myself when I'm saying it. Like, I'm saying it knowing that I am connecting with my spirit guides or spirit or the universe. And by stating it, I'm actually, like, also opening the door for support to come through to make whatever I just spoke happen in my reality.
I like that a lot. You saying that, just like you talking about the support, like, it makes me realize how much I have, like, I sort of fall into, like, hyper, like, independence. And in my, like, spiritual journey, even, like, I'm very, like, I'm doing this and I'm doing this on my own. I'm creating this thing, and I feel like I forget. And, like, my cat showing up is, like, a good reminder. I got homies everywhere. Like,
and I don't mean just physical. yeah. No, I got homies everywhere.
I'm specifically referring to the non-physical homies, actually. But I feel like I forget that they're there, and they know that they're there, and they know that they're helping me, and they're like, hey, maybe you should give us some recognition. Actually, I don't know that they really care that much. Because they're going to help me either way, but, like...
Yeah.
But I feel like I could maybe benefit from that. From, like, calling in the support more. Because I forget to do that. I'm like, no, I am here. I am creating this grid. I am doing this thing. But honestly, are we ever doing it alone?
No. Well, and there's this law, and I don't really know how I feel about this universal law. I've just heard people talk about it, and I want to say this from a place of I don't really know where I stand with it, but I'm just kind of repeating. It's this universal law of non-interference. Have you heard of this?
Vaguely.
Okay, so there are universal laws in our universe. And a big one is the universal law of non-intervention. This is kind of why aliens and galactic beings have not fully presented themselves yet. Or when shit goes down, it's like, okay, why isn't Jesus stepping in? Why aren't these aliens coming to help if they're here to support humanity? Why aren't they stopping the corruptness on the planet? Okay, well, there's this law of non-intervention. Like, you got yourself into this pickle. Yes, if you ask and you give permission for support to come in, then they can, quote unquote, interfere. But until you asked for that support, they are not really, sure, they're able to kind of like nudge you and align things and make things happen. But like, essentially, it's your own free will that is deciding to do with that, and to truly like intervene, they cannot. And so it's interesting to think about, because a lot of people are like, well, I asked, or I'm going through this, and like, why don't they just show up? And it's like, okay, well, have you like surrendered it to God? Have you like surrendered and asked for support? Have you given this? And I feel like once we do that, that's when the real magic starts to happen. And that's when like spirit actually like really presents itself, which is beautiful. And this also reminds me of something that my ex-boyfriend said, which is really funny. And I giggled. Like, I looked at him and he said it, and I just like giggled, and I was like, what? Because I always, like, before I do anything, I'm asking spirit. Before I put anything in my body, I'm asking spirit. Before I do literally go anywhere, like, I'm asking spirit first, especially if it's like big life decisions. And one day I was like, I don't know, we were doing something, and I remember I was like, let me tune into spirit real quick. And he's like, can't you just do anything on your own? he's like, because I was like, well, spirit says this. And he's like, why do you like, I don't need to ask spirit. I can do it on my own. And I was like, can't relate, bro. Can't relate. Like, I don't want to do anything on my own. Like, spirit's always got my back. Why would I try to do anything on my own? Yeah, right? But hearing you say this, I understand, like, why someone would think that, though. That, like, super hyper independence.
Was he a fire sign?
Oh, yeah. A Sagittarius. It was big rough. Could not handle my waters.
Oh my god. Okay, well, I get it. Like, honestly, I feel like that's like a fire, like, sign quality.
And I have that too, like, hyper independence. I think it shows up in different ways, though.
Sure.
Like, it's hard for me to receive people from help from physical people.
Yeah.
But spirit, well, it's hard to surrender sometimes too.
Yeah.
It's a learning life lesson for everyone.
Well, so what came up during that is, I feel like this is probably a different conversation, but I feel like it's different with, like, my ancestors or, like, my familial, like, spirit guides. Like,
okay, yeah.
Like, my Nana and my cat, like, I feel like I don't have to call in their support, like, for them to be there. Like, they're just there, and like, they're guiding me in, like, every moment, even if I'm not asking for it. Like,
just like how your cat showed up.
Right.
Exactly. And that's why I'm not sure how I feel about the non-intervention.
I mean, I wonder, like, in that case, I think you're talking about something different, Like, I feel like your ancestral guides are a little...
It is a different bond.
It's like a different energy.
Yeah. I feel you now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like ancestors are always present and willing to... Like, they're doing work on the ancestral lineage without you even knowing, right? Like, they're always just there. It's beautiful. By the way, we're going to be talking about... Welcome to the podcast. By the way, we will be talking about... so in the last episode, we talked about content creation. How when you dive into something that you feel is so soul aligned, how sometimes that can spark insecurities, but really those sparks of insecurity are actually leading you to expansion and leading you to this new level of self because you're ready to let go of this, version that no longer serves you, and how also those sparks can come from close relationships in your life. And oftentimes the biggest call for expansion does come from a loved one. I do feel like most times, often than not, like big expansions come from the people closest to you. And that's because that's what we signed up to be here for. That's how we chose to support each other. So definitely go check out that episode. And Zoe's original episode, which was lovely to hear her story. And we dived into like a bunch of other stuff during that, like your last relationship, how to move through change, how to surrender, and how to manifest. This queen is a manifestation god, and God and goddess. You get to be both.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. But in this episode, we are talking about the eclipse portal that's going on, intense energies at the beginning of April and of March with the new moon in Aries and full moon in question mark. We're going to look it up and dive into it. And then we are going to talk about balance in how to intuitively care for your body and how to listen and to show up for your body intuitively, moving with your moon cycles. This woman is all about health and wellness, and anytime we're together, we're talking about health and wellness things. We literally started the podcast with that, diving into and talking about just an area where, I dove, and we'll start with this. Let's just start with this. I dove super deep into food, and I was so focused on eating because I thought that was going to help my health. And like I was doing all these crazy eating things, and I've chilled a little bit. Chilled a lot of it, I would say, actually.
A lot of it.
Yeah, a lot of it. I honestly, I think medical medium is the closest I've come to joining a cult.
Oh my God, thank God you're saying that. In real time, me hearing this come out of your mouth, I like want to cry right now, like happy tears. Because I felt that way, but I felt also like it's hard to
yeah.
Like when somebody's really into something, like I don't want to tell them that I think that, like I already had communicated I had like feelings about this person and anyway, you should continue your story because I could go on about
No, go on to it. Let's go down the wormhole.
Well, I have like looked into the sky and his website, and also recently I've been watching his TikToks.
I'm like big rough.
They're like really cringy, and I'm like,
so
dude, like you don't even make sense. Like the things that you say like don't make sense. Like, and I am someone who, like, I think both things can be true. Like we can listen to science and we can listen to spirit, like, right? But like, I don't think that you should. Science has to play a part in it when it comes to giving nutritional advice. Like, there's a reason, like, why that exists. And I think that we need to be looking at it, like, from a grounded perspective. And also the fact that, like, nutrition's, like, it's not a one-size-fits-all thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone's biology is so different. So how one food, like, reacts to one body is going to be different than how someone else reacts.
Yes.
That's why, like, food-based science, honestly, is so, like, skewed because it's hard to say, like, this food affects people in this way because we're all so different, like, biologically.
And I heard someone recently say, like, here's the information, now figure out how it works for you. Yeah. Like, in that, like, I dove super deep into medical medium because I found him. I got super excited. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to try all of these things. And, like, the heavy metal detox smoothie, that actually worked for me.
Sure.
That did really great things. Like, I was having rashes for months, which to me proved that something was happening. Something was being excreted from my body through my skin. And that made me feel good. And then the celery juice, that actually did really help my digestion. And that's really cool. However, some of the other things, stated, I think it is a lot of fear, and I got so scared to put certain things in my body, and then I narrowed myself, and then I accidentally lost a lot of weight because I'm a person that goes from 0 to 100 and I just like go for it, and I lean in hard when I do. And so I cut a bunch of stuff out, and then I accidentally lost a lot of weight, and I was actually like losing hair, like a decent amount at the beginning of that, which it did come in flush full with like all of the nutrients that I did end up putting in my body. However, it's not sustainable to go gung-ho in one area of your life. And when, like I was saying, when I did go so gung-ho on the, let's say my life is a tree, on the food aspect branch of my life tree, I started neglecting meditation. I started neglecting my own creations because I was so focused on food, getting home, focused on food, getting home, prepping for dinner, meals, snacks the next day, going to the grocery, juicing, like all of this stuff. And I was neglecting all of these other areas. And that's when you sat, I was coming to you just as a friend, and you were like, yo, so what are these other branches that are, I mean, it's different for everyone, but in your life, like, what are these other branches other than just food, and how do they all work together?
Yeah. Before I say that, and before I answer that, I just want to say, like, I can tell in your energy that you feel better. And also, like, you look healthy. Yeah. And I just want to say that. And it makes me, like, so happy. So.
Yeah, I think it's definitely, like, I think he's got a lot of great stuff, but also, like, you got to keep an open mind. You can't just put all your eggs in one basket. And even, like, I had a guest on a few weeks ago, Jordan Rystrom, check out the episode, but she was saying this as far as financials. You know, like, if you're going to put 40 hours a week into one place, you're going to get burnt the fuck out. You can't put all your eggs in one basket, and that comes to anything. And medical medium, I mean, it works for some people. Some people have really cured a lot of stuff. And you might go gun-ho for a while, and then you start introducing stuff back.
Sure.
And there was one more thing that I was going to say about medical medium. Well, the thing that got me out of it, before we dive into what you were going to say, we create our own reality. And that, it was always the one thing that I could feel my soul did not resonate with, because I create my own reality. So I truly do decide, if I believe so hard that eating raw meat is good for my body, and like I believe that so to the core of my being, then like it will be beneficial for my body, because we create. Whereas this other person, all these other people are like, no, raw meat, blah, blah, blah. And I don't eat raw meat. This is just an example. But like, you know, it's so beautiful. And that was like the one thing that always like was in the back of my head playing when I did dive into this deeply. It was just like, how does that work? How does that work if we do like dairy can't be bad for everyone, right? Because we create our reality. Some people really do think Greek yogurt's fantastic for them. And it might be. Who knows? I mean,
it's got some probiotic in it.
Yeah.
Probiotics,
good fats.
Fermented. That is good for your gut. So,
who knows?
Yeah. Like, I just think, like, I feel like it's hard to, like, blanket statement things.
Absolutely, you know? Especially in health and wellness.
Like, there's just so much nuance to things, which is a good segue into answering your question. And so, yeah, like, these different branches of health and wellness. So, food is part of it. I mean, and just to go a little bit more into that, think about, like, a car, right? So you want to put the best fuel in your car for your car to run its best and most efficient. So your body is the same because the food that you put in your body is your fuel. So how are you going to fuel this vessel that you have? But that can look, like we were saying, a number of different ways for people. Whole Foods. I'm gonna just put that out there. If you're eating Whole Foods, you're probably doing fine.
Sponsor us. Whole Foods. Or are you talking about Whole Foods?
Not the store, even though I do love them. I'm talking about like Whole Foods as in one ingredient foods.
I'm like, Whole Foods, get us a sponsor on this video.
But I do like Whole Foods, although I don't love that they're owned by Amazon. But I mean, Whole Foods is I shop there anyway. But yeah, so that's one branch is our nutrition and what we're putting in our body, and another is movement. And I am the most passionate about movement. I have been my whole life. And so that can also look a number of different ways, though. Like, some people walk, they like walking. People like dancing, yoga, Pilates, lifting weights. There are so many different ways that we can move our bodies, but it is so important, so important for a number of reasons. Like, it's great for your physical health. I mean, lifting weights is great for your bones, and also having muscle on your body improves your immunity. But like yoga can also help you like mentally and spiritually. Same with dancing, it can do the same thing. Like, it has more benefits than like just physical. And so those two things are like very much your physical health, but they bleed into other areas of your health too, like mental, emotional, spiritual also. And
I just had a feeling. We're good. Okay.
And sleep is another one. Do not sleep on the importance of sleep. Because not only is like, you know, getting a certain amount of hours of sleep important, but like the quality of your sleep is really important also. And that affects your physical health, affects your immunity, but it also affects like
your hormones.
Yeah, that too. But like your emotional state.
Yes.
And your spiritual health, because how are you going to show up and be your best self if you're not fully rested?
How are you going to astral travel in your dreams if you don't have space to dream? Period.
Amen.
Have you seen the studies that have been coming out where they've been finding that women need like 9 to 12 hours of sleep a night for their hormones? Maybe not 12. I think it was 9 to 11. Something like that. In order for their hormones.
No homo.
In order for their hormones to be like properly regulated and like to stay in that, like all of the sleep studies were actually done on men, which is why that 7 to 8 hours, but that's for men's hormones, right?
And a 24-hour cycle versus a 28-day cycle. Yeah. I have heard that study before.
Fact check this, by the way. Yeah, because I'm talking from my ass in a TikTok video.
No, so I think that's really interesting because I actually brought that up to one of my friends who is very into science.
Oh, yeah.
And she was kind of like saying not just being careful to like blanket statement things like we do with like food, because
this is true, yeah.
Like everyone's body and biology is so different. And even if we're operating on the same hormone cycle, like what our bodies might need with that might be a little bit different.
Yeah.
So that might be like pretty true. I mean, I need a lot of sleep personally.
Same. Like I feel so rested after 10 hours. Like 10 hours I feel like is like the perfect spot, and I rarely get that.
Yeah, I get like 8 probably normally. I like 9. I feel like 9 is like my sweet spot.
Yeah.
But 2, it depends on
Are you ovulating? Are you in your menstrual?
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah. Yes, definitely. But yeah, sleep is also this really important aspect. And I've noticed too that like my gut health is very affected by my sleep.
Oh, that's interesting.
So I have a very like sensitive gut, and it doesn't take much for my microbiome to get out of balance, and not having enough sleep is something that really affects it. If I only got like 6 hours of sleep, I'll wake up with a tummy ache. And then my gut will just be messed up for like the whole day.
Oh, wow. Huh.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So, sleep for a healthy gut. I actually don't know anything about that, so don't quote me on that.
I mean, that's just what happens to you in your reality.
But that's what happens to me, yeah.
Yeah.
So we have sleep, and then another... Oh, how we're managing our stress. That's the other big one. And we can do that through some of the things that I was talking about. So through our food, through our movement, through our sleep. But also we can do things like meditate and do breath work. Like breath work is very powerful for managing our stress. Reflecting and like writing down our thoughts. So this one I feel like is very much... mental and spiritual health, but it can impact your physical health also.
Absolutely.
I think it's an important thing to note that they're all connected. That
just like a branch on a tree.
Yes, they're all working together, and there is no one that's better than the other. Mm-hmm. They all are working together to make you your healthiest. And if one is out of balance, then it might be causing inflammation that's affecting one
something
of the other
else. Yes.
pieces of it. So
yeah, that was such a beautiful sentiment, and it has always stuck with me because it just put it in the grand scheme of things. And two, I think you had mentioned like career might be one, but like career might not be the focus right now. Like too, like they each kind of light up when they are meant to be the main focus, right?
Yeah.
And Jacqueline, who was on the podcast a couple weeks ago, such a good sentiment that she shared, which was that if everything is manifesting right and something in your life is not manifesting, well, then it's not the time for that. And you should actually be seeing like what is lit up in your life right now. What can you be focusing on? Like I would love to move out of the house that I'm in right now. That would be fabulous. However, that's not happening right now because I'm meant to create. I'm meant to have the stability to create and really like jump off and just dive into creation. And I have the whole setup for that. And I love that. And that's just how kind of these different branches of life are. It's not only your career that's going to make your life a wonderful living success. It's how you treat your mind. It's how you treat your body. It's how you have friends in the social group. These branches are like just to go on and on and on.
Yeah. Yeah, because they definitely, like, all of those different areas are going to impact all of the, like, important areas of your life. When you were saying the thing about, like, your house and how you're feeling about that right now, it makes me think of, so at this yoga studio I work at, we have like monthly programming, and this month our theme is transition. And so we actually have a little podcast that we do every month where we talk about the themes. And one of them is Bardo, which is, it's the state between death and rebirth. And it's like a Buddhist like concept.
Oh, yeah.
And what you were saying really reminded me of that, because when we're in these like flux states, we're kind of just like waiting to be in the next thing. We want to be in the next thing. But life is still happening right now. And the more that you can be present, like with the state that you're currently in and not like waiting until the next thing, like that's like really where the magic happens. I actually also just wrote a poem about this. Oh. And it's the poem that is on my Instagram post of that dance I just posted. So it's my most recent Instagram post.
Beautiful.
It might not be by the time this goes up, but it's it's like a little dance that I did, and there's a poem underneath it, and the message in the poem is that, like, the space between death and rebirth is here and now.
Yes.
And that we move
Wow.
in cycles and in seasons because we're part of nature.
Mm-hmm.
And nature is existing all the time. And we're existing all the time. And nothing that we do in our life, like 3 months down the line, is going to be more important than what we're doing right now, because we're creating everything right now.
Mm-hmm. Creation happens in the now. And even with manifestation, right? Like, presence is such a key to manifestation, because with presence, we are actually able to create in the now, which then is where the future comes from. Like, if you're creating from the past, that's not going to get you a new future, because you're going to be feeding your present now moment with past experiences. If you're creating from the future, well, you're not actually in the present, so you're not getting anywhere with that. So you got to be present. And it's so interesting that you bring this up, because literally I found an episode about the void, which is the womb space, and that is the space between death and rebirth. And B actually asked me to do a video on the void, because I sat in the void for like 2 years after my Bufo ceremony.
Yeah.
And I've talked about this several times on the podcast. Go listen to that episode. But it's this space where, like, you might not feel called to do anything, but it is, how can you sit in stillness and be okay with what is presenting itself? You might not be called to take action. You might not feel inspiration for much, but, like, can you just sit with yourself and be, yes, so present with what is in your life, and just live? And the more you focus inward, the more you just focus on taking care of yourself and filling up your cup, it will get you to that rebirth state quicker, because you are growing when you are filling your cup in that way, rather than wishing you were somewhere else and then neglecting what is here. Here. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really beautiful.
Mm-hmm. How do you intuitively listen to your body's needs? Because you're really good about this. And we were talking about earlier how sometimes, like, I work a job where, yes, I can hear what my body is saying, but I can't always act on it in the moment, which can be kind of frustrating. But, and two, sometimes I get home and my body's like, hey, it would be really good to move right now. And I'm like, I kind of want to watch YouTube, but though. And then I, like, sit and, like, how do you act upon your intuitive hits for your body?
I think part of it is that I'm fortunate to have a body that is loud about what it needs. Like,
I've seen it be loud.
She will be aggressive and almost like very invasive when I need something sometimes. That's less so the case, I think, today, now that I do just, like, care for myself better. It was more so in a time when I wasn't caring for myself as well in a multitude of ways. Then my body would be like,
so loud.
Bitch, we're gonna just suffer right now. Like, you're gonna be so nauseous right now until you give yourself food. Or something like that. I honestly feel like part of it is just that today, I'm just fortunate with my position, with my job, that it allows me to do that. Like, I mean, I work in the health and fitness industry, and I work at a gym and yoga studio, and so I can work out whenever I want, and so I just do. Like, I just work out whenever I feel like it. And I mean, I do every day because I want to every day. But I also eat whenever I want, so I just eat when I'm hungry. And I think I did have a harder time tuning into my body's needs when I wasn't in a position where I could just do that, like, whenever I wanted. So I do think that is kind of my answer, like, that impacts it a lot. But when I was trying to start like a regular movement routine when I had been sedentary for a while, I just had a lot of discipline like towards movement. I just made myself do it. Like, even if I wanted to instead watch YouTube or do something else, I did it anyway because I knew that that was going to be best for me, even if it didn't feel like I had the energy to do it. Because sometimes we don't feel like we have the energy to do it, but it actually gives us energy. It's one of those things that's like a paradox.
Yes.
It feels like it's going to deplete your energy or just like you don't have the energy to do it or get started, but you will actually have more energy the more that you do it.
Yes, it's that feedback loop. I've talked about this too with creation. Like, creation, once you get started, like, I'm feeling charged right now. That's because we've been creating for the past like 2.5 hours, right? And it's crazy what can happen. And I often forget that movement is the same because I don't do it regularly.
Yeah, and I mean, you're not alone in that. I feel like it's also like our culture. Like, American culture doesn't, we so much prioritize individual health instead of collective health. And it's like, how are you doing this thing for yourself instead of like, well, how are we helping each other? Like, how are we doing this all together? Like, that's why gym memberships are like really expensive and like healthy food is not like plentiful and abundant. We don't have like immediate access to it. We're just not like set up for success like in this society, and it's not normalized. It is in certain areas. I shouldn't say that blanket statement like as a country, but we live in the Midwest, so it's not like normalized to have like a regular like fitness routine. And we're all like, a lot of us are working like 9-to-5 jobs and have to do like all of these other things like on top of just having a job. And so it's like, when do I even find time to do that thing? And that's what a lot of people struggle with.
Yeah. I don't know why I keep getting weirded out. Okay, we're fine. Yes, and I feel like especially that's what it comes down to for me is like, I have a relationship, I have all this content that I'm creating, I have like just what I have to do to be a human, like chores, cooking, laundry, appointments, you know, and then, movement is like the last thing I'm thinking about. Even like sexual intimacy sometimes, it's like the last thing on my mind because I'm trying to do all this other stuff while also trying to rest and work, like a job. Yeah, and this is why in the last episode we were talking about how we're trying to create financial freedom through potentially content creation, and doing our own things and working for ourselves so we can create this future where humans are not slaving away and just being fully giving their energy to an outside source.
That's why I'm very like, I want everyone to have like a regular movement routine because I know it's important for every human being to have that. I mean, we would just be a lot healthier overall, like as a society if people did that. But I also have empathy because I understand that it's not the most accessible thing. I wish that weren't the case. Like, I hope we can get to a place where it can be, we can create that space more.
Yeah.
That's something that it's just something that I'm passionate about, and I want to see everyone thriving. I want to see everyone moving their bodies and having a good time.
Absolutely.
And being healthy and having muscles and loving it.
Yes. Honestly, in that video with the poem, I was looking at your arms, girl. I was like, oh, damn, CrossFit showing it up. I was like, okay, Zoe, you're starting to get them, like, weightlifting arms. And I'm like, oh my God.
I'm literally blushing because, okay, you're now the fourth person.
No way.
Who said that to me, like, who has, like, specifically complimented my arms in the past couple of weeks. And
Show us the guns. Show us the guns. Give us the gun show.
About to. It's like honestly like my like triceps are really like the most like defined. Like I don't have like super big like biceps or anything, but like it's like certain like angles like you can
shadows
like see it. But I've like never had like toned arms, so it's brought a whole like new level of confidence for me. So
it feels good. When I had farmer gains, bro, I had arms. I had like nice. You'd catch yourself in a shadow, and you're like, oh yeah, look at that curve. And now I have lost my farmer gains, but that's okay. We can always get them back if we wish. It's not that hard. And arms are arms. The more you flap, the more you are happy. I don't know. Anywho,
arms are just arms. Bodies are just
arms.
Bodies.
Yeah, man. It's beautiful. We're all beautiful.
Yes.
And I want to talk about, before we dive into the new moon, full moon energy, real quick, something that someone can do that's a little bit more attainable is to eat for their cycle. And we both do this. If you are a person with a female body, you have a 28-day cycle. Not sure if you knew, you probably did, but these resources, you can literally go to TikTok, go to Instagram, go to Google, YouTube, start to learn about your phases. You have 4 phases, and you can eat for these phases. And so while we are talking specifically about just the different branches, we're going to come back to that food branch, because the more you eat, it does start to shift these other branches. And we've both experienced this. We share about our periods almost every month. Mm-hmm. And it's wild. Like, I did not eat a lot of magnesium in my luteal phase this month, and I had period headaches for days. Like, the last few days in my luteal phase into menstruation phase, my head was pounding. But it's because I was not eating the rich, like, magnesium foods, the proteins, the, like, heavier root vegetables and stuff to support my body. And so when you are moving on this cycle, these just ebbs and flows, you get to know your body and how it works.
Yeah. I think, too, like, knowing what not to do is also important.
Totally.
And, like, if you're going to pay attention to any of them to start, the luteal phase is, like, the one you want to pay attention to, because that's the one that happens right before you menstruate. And that's the one that's going to, like, impact your PMS symptoms the most. So, like, also avoiding certain things. Like, if you can avoid, like, alcohol during that time, it tends to help me. If you can avoid, like, fried foods or, like, heavily processed foods or, like, having lots of oils, like, things like that, I have found that helps me, like, during that time, just avoiding those things. And excess caffeine also, avoiding that. You don't have to, like, cut out caffeine completely if it's in, like, your regular routine, but just making sure you're not, like, having extra coffees, like, during that time, or energy drinks or whatever you do. So yeah, just, like, being mindful of that stuff, that's personally helped me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. You start to, once you track it, you start to learn your trigger foods. Yes. I have definitely found that. And also trigger activities, right? Like, I know that the day right before I start my period, I usually get, like, a spike of energy. However, if I accidentally push myself too hard with that spike of energy, the next day, it's not going to be a good day. It is not going to be a good day. And I know that just by tracking it, right? Just by tracking it. And I know, too, to film all the things when I have that burst of energy, because it's not going to last very long when I'm ovulating. And 2, to lean into intimacy time during that ovulation phase, but use protection if you, aren't on birth control, like we are not. But, like, lean into those moments and go with your phases. You start to learn, like, in your follicular phase, it's good to eat a lot of like kind of crisp things, raw things, and the same with ovulation. And then, you know, in your follicular, you want to do the like full body sprints, the like hard workouts, the ovulating, like, yeah, like you just, it's wild how you can understand not only your physical, but also your mental and emotional body when you start to track the phases. Like, I know when I am in my luteal phase and I'm feeling snappy or like super depressed, I'm like, okay, it's just a hormone thing. It's just a hormone thing. Like, we're just here right now. But also, eating healthier helps with that. It helps with the PMS. So definitely look into the resources.
Yeah, just like overall, like when I cleaned up my eating, like
my God.
that's really what like made my period just better overall. And then I got deeper into the cycle syncing like after I did that, but just like it's whole foods.
Yeah.
Again, like just going back
whole
to that,
foods.
like
yeah, it's
one
wild.
ingredient foods. Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say something. This isn't about food, but when you were saying, like, you know, in the follicular phase, like, sprints and your cardio is, like, great.
Oh, yeah.
A sweet spot for, like, weightlifting, if anyone's into that, is, like, right after ovulation, like, at the very beginning of the luteal phase, like, that kind of, like, in-between, like, sweet spot, testosterone is, like, and if you lift weights at all, it's, like, the day for your gains. It is like the time.
The time to break a record.
I try during that time usually. Like I wait for that day and I'm like, let's try my lift again. Let's see where we're at today.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God, PR!
Got it. It's actually just my hormones.
Yeah, I'm actually just cycle syncing, so I have an advantage. But
well, and that's what makes us magic and powerful, like women. Like, we literally are working with our bodies in the most potent and magical way. And then too, once you start to work with the cycles, you can also tune into them spiritually, okay? Because ovulation is the maiden, the wild woman, follicular maiden. And then the luteal is like that mother energy, menstrual is the crone, okay? And then you also are going through a cycle of death and full rebirth. Okay, the death, you're letting things release during the menstrual. The rebirth is that ovulation. And then once that happens, you start to learn, like, okay, when is it best to create during my cycle? When is it best to maybe call things in? When is it best to release? And then, like us, we used to be synced with the full moon, and this is a great segue. We're now synced with the new moon. And so what does this mean to be a new moon blood witch, right? I don't know if that's what it's called, but it sounds cool. I think there's terms. I can't remember what terms.
I feel like it's like white witch, I think.
Yeah.
That's what it is with the new moon.
Yeah.
And then it's like purple maybe for the full moon. I don't know.
Idea.
I don't know. But
no idea.
Yeah, no, they have, they do have days. But they also like represent things, energies.
Yes.
Like, so like when you're synced up with the full moon, it's like your intuition is very heightened. And you're in like a very like magical like place. Probably like very in tune with your body and yourself. And then being synced with the new moon is like, you are ready to manifest. You are ready to create something.
Ooh.
You are co-creating right now. You are ready to start something new. So when you're synced up...
so interesting. I didn't know that.
Last year, there was like a good chunk of time where I was synced up with the new moon. Like, a good chunk of time. And it was like when all of these crazy like manifestations were coming through in my life. And I've been slowly, like, creeping up to be synced up with the new moon again.
It's been a while for me. I don't remember it actually ever. I don't remember it. But
well, you better use this time then.
Yeah. I feel like it's been probably the past 3 months that we've been, like, pretty synced with the new moon.
Yeah.
Or maybe, like, I feel like I literally started bleeding on the new moon. That's the first day that I have been, like, full on synced.
And it's so funny because I texted you and, like, I had this, like, I just felt something, and I just like felt like I was supposed to text her, and I thought I was gonna start that day, but you ended up starting that day, and we were both projected to start on Monday. I ended up starting on Monday, but
oh my lord. And then you start to notice too that like it's not just your menstrual, it's not just the things in your life, like it's actually astrological energies coming in with all this other stuff and then creating this like soup that you're in, and it's just like it's a lot. It can be a lot, but it's really cool to work with it in that way. And then for the creation resonates because this is like a creating year for me, like creation. That's been the theme. And so I had no idea that was the case for the new moon. So it makes sense at the beginning of the year that I'm syncing with the new moon energy. That's really cool. I had no idea.
It's also like a really potent time for like mutable signs right now. So I
think that's me.
Yeah, it is. So Gemini like falls under that also. For the first half of the year, like we kind of have like an upper hand.
Love to hear
with
it.
like manifestations. I don't know the exact reasoning behind that, so
hey, that's okay. We don't need to.
Tune into your favorite astrology creator to learn more about that.
Tune in to our bestie Brielle Freeman.
Yes.
Be Free podcast.
Yep.
On Spotify and YouTube.
Yes.
I think it's just Spotify right now. I'm pretty sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
she'll
can tell you everything.
Yeah.
But I've been seeing a lot of I just keep seeing things about how this like year is gonna be like a really like powerful one.
I feel that hard.
I just feel like personally, like things are gonna be crazy about like by the end of the year we're gonna look back and like see all of the growth and be like, what happened?
Yeah.
How did we get here?
Literally.
I've been already seeing it. I feel like.
Oh, same. Yeah. I mean, even this new moon alone, the shift. So not only did I, like, this was about a few days ago, like, literally I'm probably, like, day 6 in my period, or my cycle right now, which means I started my period, like, 5 days ago. And it's done. But I was on a trip. We took a little vacay, me and my partner. And this trip was, like, timeline shifting central. Like, not only were we jumping evolutions within our own relationship, but like individually we were moving through so much, and this new moon illuminated just the selves that were ready to be fully released. Like, I had this like wallowing self where I was just sitting in this energy and letting it ruin my day. And like, if we had a little spat in the morning, I just like clung to it all day. And it was this like wallowing energy. And I've done this, I think, like since I was a kid, and I've watched family members wallow, which I think is, of course, we learn everything from who we're around when we're younger, but also from our soul. And this was a soul lesson that my soul wanted to, just like learn to let go, learn to let it go. And so this version of myself was being so very illuminated and brought back up because it's ready to be moved out. It's no longer serving me, and I needed to see it so very clear. And so if you have these like old patterns come up, don't be hard on yourself, but know that they're coming up so you can bring awareness. Oh, this is still running as a program in my subconscious. Let's get rid of it. And then two, this just like this reactiveness for both of us, really, like we were kind of being a mirror to our reactiveness. And I learned, and I worked with my mentor on this because I was like, man, it was a very reflective mirror. And she was like, well, what occurs when we are reflections of something else, or we see a mirroring effect start to occur, it's because you are not being the own guiding force in your life. You are not centered in your own energy and guiding with your own energy, which is then allowing yourself to be guided by another energy, which then causes the mirroring effect. And I thought that was such an interesting code that was brought through. Because it helps you look at, like, I think we are all mirrors of each other, but I think when it's really potent and really showing up very clearly, something's going on. And it was so true. I had not taken the moment that whole trip and really lately to just like anchor into my own energy and be that guiding force, especially as a reflector in human design in my own life. And so that was coming forward, and just these like areas that have been just running in the back, just like trash amongst my light, like just coming forward. And that's really, I feel like new moons, especially this one, just bring the gunk forward, and then you start to work through it. And in the full moon, that's when you release.
Yeah.
What did this new moon bring up for you? Or if you have any comments on all of that.
No, I mean, honestly, I don't.
Hey, that's cool. That's cool.
No, but like, I love that, just that like revelation that you were like able to have with all of it. And when you were saying all of that, that you being a reflector in human design is like so why you experience that stuff, or it's like part of the reason, because you're just like easily influenced like by the energies of other people. Like I am too, though, as a projector.
Yes.
It like it shows up in a different way, but I also get impacted like in a similar way. But as far as this new moon, for me, I mean, so I was PMSing pretty hard like during it, and
Same.
I feel like, I don't know, I was feeling a lot of emotions. Like I just felt very emotional in general. Like I just felt a little softer and more in tune with my emotional state. And I just kind of, I felt very, like, lovey. Like, I just, like, wanted to be, like, affectionate and loved. And I just wanted to, like, show love to, like, people around me. And I felt like that one day. And then literally the next day, I was like, nobody talked to me.
That's usually how I feel on my period. Yeah. I'm like, leave me alone. Don't touch me. I'm going to recluse in my room.
Yeah. And, like, that Sunday, I was like, no, like, I just can't talk to anyone. I just need to be left alone. And that was really good, though. Like, sometimes you really need that. And I also, like, felt really creative that day. Like, I feel like that, it's funny because I feel like this new moon hasn't brought up anything super intense for me. It's more so been, like, my creative energies have been flowing like a lot, and I literally woke up on Sunday morning and I was like, I have a video idea. Like immediately, like I like shot out of bed and I was like, I have to record this right now. And it was all those little like snapshots of my home. And I mean, that's like a thing on TikTok. Like, I'm not the only person who's done that. But I was like...
But you had the inspiration and you listened.
Yeah, and I was just like, there's just so many, like, cute little corners in this home. And that's where we are right now. We're in my house. This is
a
beautiful,
my little, like, setting.
Meditation room. It's called Cozy.
Station.
Yeah. Not even... It used to be the Cozy room, and now it's just called Cozy.
I like that.
Cozy.
We're in the Cozy.
Yeah, in the Cozy. Yeah. But yeah, I just was like feeling really inspired, and that bled over like into the next day too. But one thing I did notice that these energies have brought up is I've been really wired. Like sleep has been rough like this week.
Interesting.
And Monday night specifically, so I had a late dance rehearsal. And when I got home, I was like tired, but I was like, I don't want to go to bed. I just want to create things right now. Like I was just feeling so in the energy, like very inspired. And I was like, well, I got to do something with this. And I had a little substance, if you will. And I got in the shower, and the the juices were just flowing because of that. And my thoughts were like so potent. And I was like, man, I know it's 11:30 right now and that I should be going to bed. But also I feel like I should use this energy right now. So I got out of the shower and I was just in my towel on the toilet and I wrote this poem, that same poem that I was talking about. Oh. This is where this poem came through.
And Zoe on the toilet, little stony baloney
at midnight, out of the shower on a Monday night.
Maybe a poop's coming out. We don't know.
No, literally. It's like a really like funny sight to think about, but that's like me in my element, I feel like. And
raw.
Yeah.
Raw dog in life.
Yeah. And that's me like a lot of the time. But it was just like flowing. And I was thinking about no, literally and metaphorically it was flowing.
Flowing out both ends. All ends of Zoe were flowing.
Exactly. And honestly, I love that for me,
That's
truly.
So good.
So I was just in the zone. And I just couldn't stop. Like the time kept ticking and it was like midnight and I was like, I gotta keep writing.
It hits in waves like that.
So I finished the poem and I was like, okay, it's in my notes app. I'll come back to that when I want to do something with it. And so I tried to lay in bed, but my hair was really wet. I don't like going to bed with wet hair. I didn't want to run the hairdryer because my partner was already in bed with the dogs and I didn't want to like cause a commotion. So I was like, I'll just deal with going to bed with wet hair. But then it really bothered me. Like I got overstimulated by my hair being so wet and I couldn't go to sleep. And then I just started like thinking about all the energies again. And it was 2 a.m. and I still hadn't gone to sleep.
Oh my God.
And the dogs were also snoring pretty loud. So there was just like a bunch of factors, but I ended up coming in this room and I slept in here on the couch. And then I ended up actually falling asleep. But then I had some weird dreams.
Wild.
Like weird dreams.
The dreams have been gnarly. You were in my dream last night.
Oh.
Actually, all of the girls.
Wait, that's weird because
yeah, I know.
Okay, another friend in our group said that she had a dream about like our whole friend group like 2 nights ago. And then last night you did? That's wild.
She said that I was pregnant in one of the dreams.
I know.
Last night I was at my wedding. I was preparing for my wedding and my mom picked out all my bridesmaids. And I was so upset that she would just go and do that. And I didn't know who any of them were. And they were all her friends. And I was like, why the fuck would you do that? And I was so upset. And it was like this moment of like standing up for myself and being like, no, I don't want these people as my bridesmaids. I don't even know these people. I don't care that they bought dresses. And then I was thinking, I was like, who would be my bridesmaids? And then like all of the girlies came to mind. And I was like, that's who I want at my wedding. And like I pictured all of you so clearly. As bridesmaids.
And then we were just there.
And then you were just there. Anyways.
That's wild. But yeah, I don't even remember what I dreamed about because sometimes they just like go. But I was like, what the? Like I woke up and I was like, what the fuck? And I was so tired. And my period had also hit that night. Like that's actually funny too. Like it was like 2 hours before I was like all wired and on the toilet and like writing my poem and stuff. And so then Tuesday I woke up and I was like, oh my God, like I felt like I got hit by a bus. Like it was like a hangover. Like I had like a creative hangover.
Yeah.
And then I was on my period too and I was just in a lot of pain. It was not the worst period I've had with like pain, but it was enough to where it was like bothering me. Mm-hmm. And so that day I was just like really low energy and just feeling kind of like meh. And I was like, I just want to go home and don't want to do anything. So this is like more so I guess how my cycle was like impacting me, but I mean,
still the moon.
I also feel like though I don't necessarily always have these like super intense like creative juices flowing, and I just have this week like through my whole cycle other than Tuesday, that was the exception. I've just been like it hasn't even necessarily been content. Like I've been like wanting to be in the studio more, like dancing and just moving my body like freely. I've just been feeling more artistic, having more ideas, like brainstorming more things in general. So that's really how it's been showing up for me. And I've been seeing a lot of things about how, like, April is going to be a lucky month. So I'm claiming that energy. I want that.
If you haven't already, check out the April energy update that I channeled. Like you, I had creative inspiration last night. It was like 10:30. I channeled an Octurian like Council of Six video. They had an urgent message, and then I went ahead and did the April 2025 video. And April is like a whirlwind, like major new beginnings, major like happenings are occurring. It's this like super fast-paced energy, and with this like new earth shift that has just occurred, which is in the Octurian Light Council of Six video, think of it as like we're like reborn again. And right, like a toddler, you buy them shoes, and then 2 months later, they need a new pair of shoes because they are growing so rapidly. And we're kind of in this state, and with this fast momentum pace, like creation comes into play. And with the release, new energies come in. And again, too, it's that feedback loop of like, the more you feed your creations, the more you have ideas and inspiration, and it just continues and continues. Do you know what? And I feel like that's what an eclipse portal is, right? It's this portal of just massive transformation, expansion, growth, and like movement that is occurring. And that's really, it's happening in April, so it makes sense why those energies are occurring. Do you know what the full moon is in?
I feel like it's in Libra, but I could be wrong. Oh, it's in Scorpio.
Oh my lord.
No, that's May.
Oh.
What? I didn't say May. Oh yeah, I typed in May. Well, that's cool because I'm teaching a full moon yoga class next month, and so
in May?
It's in Libra. This one.
This one's in Libra?
For April. So just like a little like overview of the energy. This is from Moon Omens. I really like that website. So it says that this full moon will bring the spotlight on relationship dynamics that need our attention and emphasize how our wounds and the unconscious complexes impact how we should show up in our connections with others and the patterns that keep repeating in our lives. Okay.
Well, don't that just relate so much to what I just said?
Yeah, I know, that feels like
oh my lord.
Well, we're also in Venus retrograde right now,
yes.
So that definitely could have been impacting like some of that energy also.
Yes.
And Mercury retrograde, which affects how we're communicating also.
Oh my gosh. And we have just like, I feel like every time we get into a little like misunderstanding, it is just so misunderstood, and then defenses go up, and it's just like, I'm spatting at you because that's my way of defending myself, and he's like, well, I'm doing the same thing, and it's like, okay, well, why are we defending ourselves? Like, we're just trying to have a conversation.
Why we're working together.
Yeah. Mercury retrograde.
Yeah.
And if you want to know more information about this, I know Brielle just posted a video podcast about all of this, not video, sorry, podcast about the Venus retrograde. I'm pretty sure about these eclipses, so check that out. But this is just, it's how it's been showing up in our lives. Well, Zoe, any last words that you'd like to leave with this eclipse portal?
Throw it back and get her done! I just had to bring that back. It just feels right.
It does feel right. Throw it back. Get her done.
Should we throw it back?
Throw it back to the camera. Throw it back.
Throw it back.
Throw it back.
Get her done.
Get her done. Well, you can find Zoe on, where can they find you?
On Instagram at ZRG. Oh, sorry, no, not that. ZOGRLO, and same on TikTok. Those are my main platforms. If you see me anywhere else, pretend like you don't. I'm just kidding.
Honestly, though, I have that attitude sometimes.
Like, if you see me at the grocery store, no, you didn't.
No, you didn't. Make other eye contact. You don't see me right now. Sometimes that's the mood when you're on your period. Okay?
Amen.
Well, check out the YouTube for the channeled messages, the other podcast episode. We did a part 1 to this where we dove into, again, just creation and what that looks like for us right now and how it sparks evolution and growth. And then definitely check out the April energy update, all the other YouTube stuff. If you're looking to grow these branches in your life, you have the food, you have the mindfulness, you can do meditation. I channel meditations, do a yoga class, Myriad Yoga, hit it up. And
get a tarot reading from me.
Yeah, get a tarot reading if you need guidance. Get an Akashic Records reading if you need guidance. We are here to support and serve humanity. Put it there. Doop. Okay, bye for now. Much love. Good luck during the eclipse portal.